Let's get nostalgic. Well, that made a fart noise. Hello, welcome back to the attic with me, Lou. If you have a keen eye, then you will realize that this is not actually the usual spider plant. You can see it's got a slightly fancier pot. This is a body double. The original is currently on maternity leave. He's pregnant, expecting babies. I say he, because his name is Groot. Because all my plants are named after the Guardians of the Galaxy. And the family is coming along. So that's Rocket. That's Peter. This one's Drax, because he's the big boy. This is Gamora. She's being stubborn, but she's got the pink trim. And this is Groot. And he's growing. Look. Baby Groot's on the way. And this is a t-shirt hiding my horror DVDs, because I don't want them to bleach. Because I'm a freak. Like that. It's not just the spider plants. I had quite a few moths recently. Like, I don't think it was an infestation so much as it was just a visit. You know, they were popping in from time to time. It was hot, the windows were open, so they were always drawn to the light. And I got quite attached to them too. I was like the old guy at the end of Logan's Run, but instead of cats, it was moths. I don't know if that's something to be proud of, but I am. So the other day, I was chatting with my parents. When I say the other day, I mean like a couple of months ago probably. But we were having this conversation that we have quite a lot, which is about the Blues Brothers. Basically, we as kids were brought up watching a lot of films that the certificate was older or higher than our age. Obviously, you're like a 5-year-old watching like a 15 or an 18 or whatever. But then there was always the question of, is it suitable? Did it damage us? And my mum always makes the joke of like it having swear words, and did that affect us? But I don't think it did. I watched Austin Powers when I was really young. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know what was being said. I just thought it was funny. Like, he says things funny. He's doing an English accent and he's got funny teeth. What's not to love? I don't think I didn't understand. I didn't even know what vagina meant. And one of my neighbours, she wouldn't tell me what it meant. And I was like, is it rude? Yeah. Is it on a lady? Yeah. Is it boobs? No. And I was like, well, if it's not boobs, I don't know what it could be. If vagina isn't boob, I don't know what it is. So a lot of vagina was wasted on me. But yeah, there's like so many jokes that obviously later in life you realise what is actually being said or implied, and it's funny on a new level. Just like Pixar, but slightly more explicit, with maybe an F word here or there. Did I learn shit? The word shit from the Blues Brothers? No. They're just words, you don't know what they mean. And there's this weird thing as well, like with a lot of films, maybe not so much nowadays, but like 90s especially, films were merchandised for kids. You get toys and action figures, costumes, things like that. All aimed at kids, but the films themselves weren't supposed to be seen by kids. And it was kind of like, who is this actually aimed at? Who is this marketed for? Merchandise is merchandise. It is what it is. You know, my brother used to have all the Terminator toys before he'd seen Terminator because it was too scary to watch. It just got me thinking about what affected me when I was younger and how and why, what stuck with me, what didn't. Like now that I'm at an age where I can watch Child's Play and Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th, Hellraiser, all these films that when I was a kid, you'd see like in the video shop behind the curtain and you'd like peek and see that, maybe see like a bit of porn catch your eye as well, but it was always the scary films that you were like, I don't want to see it because it scares me, but I want to see it because I want to know. And then when you watch it when you're older, like the TV 2-part epic with Tim Curry, you know, when I was a kid, that scared the shit out of me. And I hadn't even seen it. It was just based on rumour. It was just based on people's reactions and what they'd said and people saying it was the scariest thing ever. And then I watched it, you know, probably only a few years ago for the first time. And it didn't scare me. And I was like, I went in ready. And I was like, come on, scare me. And it didn't. And I was a little bit disappointed. And I get that with lots of films. Like, I love Nightmare on Elm Street. I love that film. But I kind of miss that fear of the unknown. Your imagination makes up so much more than your eyes do, you know? It's the idea, not the product. So the things that scared me when I was younger, obviously I didn't watch scary films. I was a wuss and I didn't have exposure to scary films when I was younger because I didn't want to watch them. I didn't want to scare myself. But when I watched kids films or adventure films or family films that kids were kind of allowed or expected to see, there was a lot of stuff that really, really, really affected me. Like this, and this, remember this, and this guy, and this guy, and this, and this, and this. Like all of these things, and many more, scared me. And like, I didn't watch the end of Roger Rabbit, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I kind of went the bulk of my childhood not knowing what happened at the end. Like the whole Judge Doom thing where he gets steamrolled, the plasticine skinny version of him is waving around, and him with the red eyes, squeaky voice. I heard the squeaky voice. I never watched it. My eyes were closed. I would just wait for the bulldozer to go through and all the tunes would come through. I never saw it. And I was too scared. Again, my imagination made up for the most part of it. But like the Page Master, I still haven't watched that since I watched that when I was a kid. And I'm kind of still like, I think I'd still be a little bit nervous. It's probably fine. But it's the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde scene. Freaked the shit out of me. I still think about that from time to time. If someone's like, what scared you when you were a kid? That did. That did. Like I said, so many things did. I was quite a wuss. I'm saying this, I'm wearing a Jurassic Park t-shirt. For those people who know me well, know that I am fucking terrified of animatronic dinosaurs. Like, not like little ones. I'm talking big T-Rexes, maybe a yappy raptor. I love the films so much. The films. I love Jurassic Park, and then I like in varying levels the rest of them to some degree or another. And we won't get into that. I could rant all day. But animatronics are like my most favorite thing and my least favorite thing in the world. I love practical effects. Love, love, love practical effects. Tangible things. I live for that shit. However, if I had to ever interact with an animatronic dinosaur, probably shit my pants. Why am I scared of animatronics? It's not because of Jurassic Park, I don't think. I don't remember the first time I actually saw Jurassic Park in its entirety, so I really can't comment. I remember The Lost World. I wouldn't see it at the cinema because I was too scared. And Jurassic Park 3 also didn't see it at the cinema because I was too scared. The Land Before Time had dinosaurs. Fantasia had dinosaurs. The 90s heaving with dinosaurs. Everywhere. And I went to Disney and Universal, Knott's Berry Farm, when I was a kid, and I'm talking like 18 months, exposed to rides, dark rides with dinosaurs, the Back to the Future ride. There was a lot that I think just really, really, really scared me, but I was too young to realise what was going on. So I'm still funny now, but that's beside the point. Here we look, the original VHS. We used to have a lot of VHSs that had compilations on them, and one had Count Duckula on it, and my sister was scared of that. She wasn't scared of Count Duckula, I think it was the old lady. Cookie? Cookie? The old lady, if there was an old lady. Who's the old lady?
That's my old lady.
But yeah, my sister used to be scared of that. Sorry, Beck. When we were kids and we would watch films with scary monsters or anything that was really, if anyone looked really scary, my mum would always say, "Hiya, handsome."
Hello, handsome.
And it would make us feel way more comfortable. It added humour and it neutralised the moment for us. I nearly forgot to mention that, and it's very important because it got me through a lot of films. So, thanks, Mum. I think the goriest stuff I used to watch on the reg was like Casualty. I don't think I was an overly violent child, but like I found this thing called The Werewolf. This was a book that I started writing that was basically, this was a rip-off of Little Wolf's Book of Badness. This little wolf isn't bad enough, so he's being sent to stay with his evil uncle, which is literally what happens in Little Wolf's Book of Badness, but I added shit like this. So bad uncle is dreaming of bloody lady. Now Ian Wybrow's classic didn't have any of that, but what can I say? I'm just a big bad wolf. So I would draw things that I didn't see and didn't understand or was like a bit curious about. There was one point in my life where I would draw a lot of like people being sucked into wormholes, like these circular warpy, tidal wavy wormhole things, and they would appear in this fairy world, like this fictional fantasy land where everyone's naked, like an erotic Wizard of Oz, and they would lose their clothes in the whirlpool because they have to be naked in fairyland. And I would draw like what a kid thinks naked bodies look like. So like maybe like a bum here, maybe a nipple there, because I watched so much weird stuff. We had a lot of like VHSs, like compilation VHSs of things. These, we've got rid of so many over the years, but I happened to find these. And by happened to find, I mean actively looked for these for this video. One in particular that I have to mention is the Rupert the Bear frog song. I mean, it just says Rupert and the Frog song, but it had 2 other songs on it, music videos on it. Rupert, Seaside Woman, and the Oriental Nightfish. But let me just say first and foremost, the frog song is a wild ride. If you haven't seen it, I would check it out. It's some crazy shit. And it's written by Paul and Linda McCartney, I think. I don't know what they were on when they came up with that, but it's wackadoo. It's really funny, but it's also kind of scary and weird. Worth a watch if you've not seen it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Google that shit right this second. Or watch the video and then Google what you have to Google. But the one that affected me the most was the Oriental Nightfish, which I insist you watch. Because if I didn't know what they were on during the frog song, I definitely don't know what Linda McCartney was smoking when she came up with the Oriental Nightfish. The overall concept in a nutshell. I don't want to say too much because you have to see it. I insist you watch it if you haven't already. I don't know who would have seen it. But it starts with this woman playing a keyboard in like a big old house. And she's just talking about a visit from the Oriental Nightfish, which is just like this psychedelic ray of light that comes into her window. And then she's like sucked into a wormhole of colour and sound, and then she starts duplicating and flying around. Her robe obviously comes off in the gust of wind, so she's naked.
I've seen everything.
But like naked in a kind of child-friendly naked way. But it's weird. It's weird and strangely erotic for a child. You won't be disappointed. You might be confused. You might even wonder what's happening, but you won't be disappointed. And there was also things like this, the snowman, the Raymond Briggs snowman, a special introduction from David Bowie. Love it. But this also had some other supporting cartoons, Charlie, Summertime, Brave Tin Soldier, Little Dutch Mill, which in themselves are amazing. But Summertime was one of those like old, I want to say black and white. It wasn't black and white, but it had a lot of like the like music. I think it does. Maybe I made that up. Again, summertime. And there was a bit where these trees, they were like black silhouette trees, and then they sort of turn into ladies, and the ladies are dancing, but they're clearly naked. Even though they're just silhouettes, they're clearly naked. And they're just like swaying around, and then they turn back into trees. Again, I was all over that. So I would draw that. I would draw nakedness. But again, did that scar me for life? No. Did it make me inquisitive and curious? Yes it did. Sad films used to get me. I would watch a sad film and I wouldn't be able to watch it again because it was too sad. The Green Mile, we watched that and I never watched it again. I don't think... I've only seen it once. I read the book recently, but I can't bring myself to watch it again because it's too sad. We watched Romeo and Juliet. We studied it at school and we watched the film, the Baz Luhrmann 90s one with Claire Danes and Leo DiCaprio. And all my friends, all my schoolmates were getting really sad about that one, and they were getting really upset and crying. And it was sad, and it did make me sad. It was when we watched the Zeffirelli version with Olivia Hussey. Oh my gosh. I was devastated, and no one else was crying. So I didn't cry, because I went to an all-girls school, and girls can be cruel. So I had to hide it inside. I think it was the last class of the day. But that theme song was running through my head. And when I got home, I just burst into tears because I was heartbroken. Because they look so young and beautiful. It really broke my heart. It really did. It made me realize I had a heart, and then it broke it. When I hear the song now, I still get a bit sad. I found this VHS as well, and I had to get it out because it cracked me up. Obviously, this is a classic we all know and love, All Dogs Go to Heaven, but I never realised that the tagline is nothing warms the heart like a cold nose. I never knew that was the tagline, but I'm obsessed. This film used to freak me out. The weird, like, doggy hell or something. I don't quite know what happened. Don Bluth animation creeps me out. I won't lie, there's something about his animation that really creeps me out. So I think, yeah, there were a lot of things that affected me when I was a child. Swearing wasn't one of them to my knowledge. Like, I won't lie, I've got a potty mouth. I nearly swore. I have a filthy mouth and I swear a lot. More than I should. More than is necessary. Like, I use a lot of swear words between words. Some people don't like that shit. Sorry. But yeah, did I learn swearing from films? I don't think so. Did I learn some swear words from films? Yes. Did I learn some insults and the way people say them? Definitely. But I think that a lot of it was probably the kids at school or surrounding me that were the ones that rubbed off on me and made me the trash bag mouthed human that I am now. But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I don't know what you're gonna do. But I guess my thing is just like, when is a kid old enough to watch anything, really? Is stuff being made specifically more for certain ages? Do children watch the Mario Brother films? And is that okay? I think I did. What's in a certificate? Because let me tell you, Jurassic Park is a PG and I'm scarred for life. In the best way. But I'm scared of dinosaurs. I'm scared. Fantasia. That shit is scary. Night on Bald Mountain. That is scary. In a kid's film, I mean, I know it's like the least kiddie of the Disney films. Or is it? But it's classical music and it's artsy. It's a bit more artsy, perhaps. A bit more edgy. I ended up subscribing to Disney Plus so I could watch Hamilton and the Imagineering story, which were both great, to be fair. And then now I'm watching all the Star Wars films in order so I can watch The Mandalorian. And I was really surprised. I hated The Phantom Menace this time round, and I thought I would at least be like a little bit nostalgic, but I hated it a lot this time round. But kind of liked Attack of the Clones, which really surprised me. Really surprised me. But I don't know why. I think it's because I was waiting for it to be so bad. But Phantom Menace just like went above and beyond on the bad scale that it was like, well, the only way is up. And I enjoyed it. I won't lie. I really won't lie. But this brings me round to what I'm trying to say is that I recommend rewatching things in later life. So you get a different view. Oh, here we go. Mum's texted me. Would you like a cup of tea? I would actually. I really would. Bear with, guys. Bear with. Yes, please. My mum rescued me from a giant spider the other day. Some things you just don't grow out of, you know? It was so fucking big. I heard it on my Michael Bean poster. I literally heard it crawling along Michael Bean, and I was not having it, but I was too scared. But I didn't want to kill it because it was so big and it would land on my bed. I just felt weird about it. And luckily my mum stays up till like the arse crack of dawn watching stuff on her tablet. So, bless her. She saved me.
Get away from her, you bitch!
Thanks, Mum. You're a diamond. The trouble is, it's starting to get real cold. And the spiders, they want to come in here for the warmth. I don't blame them. We have a hoot in here, don't we? Don't we? We have the best time. But yeah, they want to be part of the party. And it's just like, sorry guys. It's just... Maybe I need to learn to live with them like I did the moths. But I say that, one crawled across my bed once. Across my pillow. Oh, it were a big booger and all. It freaked me out. But heck, it could be worse, couldn't it? Could be a dinosaur. Thank you for your time. What was that?
Boy, do I hate being right all the time.